American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time of my life. When the words all come down like blues on Tuesday.
Welcome to another episode of
American Timelines!
I'm Amy and that's Joe.
And this is episode 130.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yes, I'm sure.
All right.
Yes. Episode 130, and we have international guests.
That's
the
right.
First time we've ever had guests from another country.
Well, we had somebody from Canada.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
That
the
doesn't
second
count.
time we've had guests.
Still North America.
Okay,
isn't
a
it?
different continent. The first
There we
time we've
go.
ever had a different
There
continent.
we go. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Daniel and Nathaniel. Daniel and Nathan. Dan and Nathan from Who the Fuck Is? You can find them on Spotify, Google, Deezer, and pretty much everything else.
Yes, that's right.
Hello, Kimra Hashif.
Yes, and those of you Americans listening,
That was Gaelic.
you
You
might not understand what they're saying, but
It's
just
fine.
give it an extra listen. Just slow it down to half speed.
He's ripping on you guys.
We don't really even have accents. This is just bullying.
Nah, see,
straight off the bat. If we were nice to
I
you,
know. What happened?
Preparing them because
If people can't understand this, maybe they just need to fucking listen harder.
That's right. That's
if
what I
it's
say.
not Scottish, it's crap.
Oh, that was
I can't
awful.
I can't do it.
Awful.
that's fat bastard.
That was
My son can do that. It's crap.
get in my belly.
Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
That's right.
We have Mike Myers on this show.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Anyway, thank you guys for being
How
here.
many times? Thank you for having us.
thank you for
Thank
Sorry
you.
about the
It's-
2 hours
it's
of
a
technical
real pleasure.
difficulty.
Yeah, it was a bit of an effort getting this started.
I didn't think we'd ever get to this point, but we're here.
Yeah.
That's right.
We're here,
So these guys are here.
and we're full of cheer.
We were on their podcast about a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago ish.
Yeah.
And so listen to that. Who the F is, and we talked about all about Eve. Theirs is a movie.
Why don't you let them plug it?
Yeah, you guys tell us about your podcast. And yeah,
It's a shit show.
it's a shit show.
You're being modest.
We take an actor, a different actor each season. First season we did Nicolas Cage, and we do some of their best and worst films, and it's good fun. We've been doing how many episodes now? 17 episodes.
Oh fuck!
Still pretty
We're on our
fresh.
second season, so we're doing Sandra
Yeah.
Bullock just now.
Sandra Bullock.
I love that.
Yeah, Sandra
How
Bullock.
do you guys
Um,
choose what actor to do?
Oh fuck! So basically, the first season I think was we just all thought
Collaborative.
Nick Cage was just a bit of a meme, and we're just because he's just such a fucking weird guy.
Yeah.
So we're just like
Yeah.
we thought it'd be because I think the original pitch was that we were going to do a whole podcast just about Nicolas Cage,
Ah.
and it would just be all his films.
Yeah, but then we realised we'd be watching Nicolas Cage films for like 3 years.
Oh my
or
God, I
something.
know.
Because that guy's got a lot of work.
That's commitment.
So basically, we were like collecting names from like people we knew for a second season, and then right at the end of the podcast, Nathan just says, "Right, so we'll be back with Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side." So we're like, "Fuck, we're gonna have to do this now."
And it's stuck.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
And it's gone well.
Yeah, no, it's going well.
good
We're actually we're quite enjoying it. I liked Sandra Bullock anyway. So,
Yeah.
That's good. That's what I was going to
it
ask
was
you.
just lucky.
Is if you liked her or not.
Well, they're so
no.
they're just so specific, and they're not like they're not the top of the list, they're not the bottom of the list. Nicolas Cage is obviously for the goofy factor, but do you know what your third season will be yet? Have you figured it out?
No, we haven't
No,
decided.
no,
yet.
we're sort of talking through ideas at the moment. We don't know if we're just going to do a who gets in first at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Sort of
That's right.
that sort of thing.
It could go really badly.
Yeah, that could end really badly. You do it that way.
Yeah, and I think our listeners would like. I mean, at least what I like about that podcast is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not sort of like going to be above your head. They just kind of, it's like friends bullshitting about a movie. Like you feel
Yeah.
like you're at a diner
Yeah.
bullshitting with your friends.
That's right.
Pretty much.
We rarely talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually just complete fucking tangents.
It was also one of the reasons why we decided to do a podcast is because when we could be together,
Yes.
we would just talk about garbage and get into like really intense arguments.
That's right.
Sort of like table flipping arguments about just the most inane shit.
And you're like, why don't we
and I
record
thought-
that?
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's just record
That's how
this.
most
Someone will like
podcasts
it.
start, I think, is people like that.
People
And
think
it's-
they're really,
yeah.
really funny, and so they're
Well,
like,
everybody thinks their group is
I
the
know.
best, but
That's
but
what
this
it
is
does. Happened to
That's the
us.
most important.
but this is a genuine.
That's the most
group,
important word in that sentence is think. We're
That's
funny.
right.
We think we're funny.
That's
We're
right.
funny to us,
Yeah.
and we've got specific jokes for us.
Well, and that's the thing. I think
Another 3 people in the
if
world.
you're having fun,
Yeah.
though, as long as you're having fun, I had an improv instructor tell me one time that as long as you on stage are having fun, people in the audience will have fun. Like it's regardless. So same thing with a podcast. I think as long as you're having fun, it's fun to
Yeah.
listen to.
Right.
I wish that reflected in the listeners that we had.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Oh, God. Don't get us started on that.
Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah, we have one big hater.
Yeah.
His name.
Oh, now that you've fucking
Call
made
him
it.
out,
If you've got a
too.
hater,
Yeah, we had a
that
hater.
was-
I love it.
I loved it, too, because it was this...
He hates me.
It was
he likes Amy.
hates
He
Joe,
hates me.
and it was this paragraph of how irritating and annoying Joe is.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I loved it.
What was that guy's name? Brett Nelson.
Yep,
Brent Nelson.
Brent Nelson.
Brett
he was like,
Nelson.
if the guy would just
fuck
shut
you,
the
Brett
fuck
Nelson.
up. Yeah.
You are the most egregious thunder cunt I have ever heard of.
In your face, Brent Nelson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, fuck you, Brett Nelson. I don't even know who you are, and I want to fucking power bomb you into the floor.
Right, careful.
That
dude.
would be a sight, wouldn't it? That would be
Now,
good.
speaking of people loving Amy, my partner
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fucking loves your voice, Amy. She said,
Oh,
and I
funny.
quote, she could listen to you talk all day long.
Oh my God. And I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
So
she-
if she would just have to come to my house, she could be a fly on the wall.
I've been thinking
If
lately,
you could-
how good your voice is.
We-
Let's keep
No,
flattering me.
Sarah listens to a lot of audiobooks, so if you could like record all of the audiobooks for her,
Yes.
that would be great.
yeah.
Maybe I should.
You do.
I
you
could
should.
make some money.
You should do a demo for audiobooks. Or for
Maybe I will, fellas.
Yeah. Let's use this as a demo.
You've killed.
Okay,
that.
we're gonna get started right away, and we're gonna jump right in because we don't want to
Yeah.
bullshit too much.
That's
Although
right.
we've already bullshit a lot. But this is gonna be a different episode. You know, usually we go month by month, but we want to try something different because we got these Scottish gentlemen here to kind of do something different. So we're gonna kind of do a special episode in 1950 here of Scottish timelines within
Yes.
American timelines. Most of the stories today are gonna be in Scotland.
They all were supposed to be.
Well, I don't, except my story. My stories. All right, I should have, but I have. Okay, it's Scottish/weird stories.
Okay.
today, okay. How about
Okay.
that? I have some weird things. We're not going to go chronologically. We're going to start with Amy's murder,
Oh, right.
and she's going to jump right in, and then we're going to just
There's been a murder.
we're going to mosey
Yes.
around. I assume it's a murder. It might be a
It was
UFO.
a murder.
Oh, hello.
Oh, we fucking love murder.
I
These
know
guys
it.
love
Well, we
murder.
don't love it. It's horrible. Murder's horrible.
It is. It's fascinating, though, right?
It's a fucking pastime in Scotland.
Yes.
Just going around the streets chibbing folk.
Oh my God. I love that.
Did you say chubbing, folks?
Chibbing.
Chibbing?
No.
No. Chib. CHIB.
Oh,
That's,
chibbing.
Chibbing.
Chibbing's if you stab somebody. A
Chibbing. I chibbed your ass.
Yeah.
Chibbing.
Oh,
Chub, yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty good.
All right, I've never heard that. I would
No,
learn a new.
A chub. A chub is something different.
Yes, that's
A
right.
chub is
Wait.
that's an erection.
Yep, we
erection,
have one of those
We have
too.
that too.
Yeah.
We got chubbies too.
That's
we
right.
we
Well,
both
half
have
chub.
chubbies.
Right now. No, I'm kidding. All right.
Or another
Well, you did
good
have
one
that
for Scotland that you may not have heard of is stoner.
Oh, really?
I've got a stoner because it's stoning up. Stoning is standing.
Oh, right.
All right, we're gonna learn some of these.
We're going to learn
a
a lot of slang for erections.
Yeah.
That's a good to have. It's good to know.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Amy, you
Okay.
go.
All right. So I got my information. Oh, I'm going to talk about the murder of Catherine McCloskey.
Catherine McCluskey. Do you
You
guys
guys-
know her?
Did you do this story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my
Oh,
grand.
Okay.
I'm gonna need another beer here.
You're bringing up a lot of bad
No,
memories.
it's
Oh, my
his
Lord.
ex-girlfriend
Yes.
from
This is going
1950.
Oh,
to
no.
be a Syrian of a podcast.
Yes.
I'm a gold
Do you want to
digger.
go get a beer? Is that what
No,
you're trying
no.
to
Well,
say?
after your story, I can
Okay.
last this little bit left for your story.
Okay. So
But you'll have to get it because I'm surrounded by wires.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So July 28th, 1950.
Oh,
is
July
the date.
28th, 1950, the same day that the Malago Hospital massacre occurred at the Malago Hospital in Kampala, Uganda. After visiting his dying son at the hospital, 55-year-old Lazaro Obwara ran down the ward with a knife, chibbing a woman and 11 children. He chibbed a woman and 11 children, all of whom died.
Oh my God. He chipped them?
He chibbed them with a knife. He chibbed them.
I've never found child murder funny in my life.
I usually don't laugh at child murder, but when I add a new slang term I just learned,
Then it's awesome.
then it's hilarious.
okay.
That same day?
Yes, that date. It was a rainy summer night, and it's on Prospect Hill Road in Glasgow's south side.
Okay, you guys know where that is? Have you been there?
No,
No?
Have you been to Glasgow?
Oh, yeah.
I'm afraid not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've
Fair
done
few
our
times.
time. It's not very nice.
Yes.
Just the West Coast in general.
Oh, really?
Is horrible.
Ooh.
Wait, why is it horrible? Is it like the crime?
Because they're from the West Coast. It's like East Side versus West Side
Okay.
in America.
So
Oh,
it's
right.
like Tupac versus
Big-
Biggie.
Tupac, Biggie.
Okay. Which one's Tupac?
Yeah.
Your West Coast is the same?
Yeah.
Glasgow
So
is
we're
Biggie?
Biggie.
Oh, you're Biggie.
They're Tupac.
They're Tupac. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So this in 1950, this road, Prospect Hill Road, was rarely traveled, and unlike today's busy thoroughfare that it is.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I was kind of clumsy. I wrote it and then
Yeah, that makes sense.
is it
There's
okay?
No, it makes perfect sense, Amy. You carry on. Hen.
Okay, all right. Okay. So a taxi driver was driving along when he spotted a crumpled bundle laying at the side of the road.
Crumpled bundle. Do they call them taxis over there? Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Taxi or a cab.
That's easy
Yeah.
enough.
Easy, no. Okay. He stopped to check it out, and when he realized it was a body, he called the cops.
All right. Now, were they near a zebra crossing?
Stop it.
Because I know what that is.
I know you do.
All right.
You're very proud that you
Boom.
do. Okay, so that taxi driver, whose name was John Kennedy,
John
said-
Kennedy?
and I am not going
Really?
to attempt to do a Scottish accent here.
I really wish you would.
No, I'm no.
Wait, JFK was driving a taxi
Yeah.
in Scotland in 1950?
I know my limits. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody should have. We could go back and warn them if we had a time machine.
Yeah. He said, I showed up and saw the lady lying and thought perhaps she was a drunk or perhaps she'd been knocked down. So Officer William Kevan, I don't know, Kevan, what would you guys say?
Kavan?
Kevan. Might be Kevin.
Kevin? Okay.
Kevin?
Yeah. Okay. Officer William Kevin arrived on the scene instantly. Officer Kevin realized it was a woman and he could see she was badly injured, maybe even dead.
Uh-oh.
The ambulance arrived at speed and the paramedics confirmed Officer Kevin's hunch. The woman was dead.
Wait, did you say that he arrived instantly?
Yes.
He fucking did
That's
it.
unheard of.
It doesn't happen there, does it?
No.
That means it's an alien.
Well, no, we're not gonna. Not everything, honey. Okay, the woman was dead, knocked over by a car, most likely, but the officer wasn't so sure. In a simple hit and run, there would have been one set of tire marks at either side of the body, but there were several here.
Several tire marks?
Yes, around the body.
So she must have got hit by several cars?
Well,
Or a gang of
could be.
Or kids running off on their bikes.
Yeah.
just a BMX.
Like, shoo. Okay. And the woman had no identification on her, which was really weird in those days because it was like after the war, everybody was kind of trained to always have identification on them.
Okay.
And so it was unusual that she didn't have any identification on her.
Huh.
You would have had an ID card, or I think rationing was still going on, so you might have had a ration book on
Yeah.
Huh.
you. That would have had a name.
Or, I mean, maybe people stopped you too, and you know, you had to prove that you were whatever.
whoever.
not a
Did
refugee.
did you guys have rationing
Yes.
in
Yeah.
America during the war?
Yeah.
Yeah, different times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had
Yes.
it in World War II.
Well, I'm sure, at the time, but we've had it more than that.
Oh,
more,
right,
more
right,
than
right.
just then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because with the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we weren't around then. I know we look old.
No.
Yeah, I know you young fellers think we're a little bit old, but
But we're old enough to be your parents. Go to your room. No, we can punish you
I'm
guys.
in my room.
Okay, stay in the room.
that's right.
No podcasting
Also,
in your
like-
room.
My room was my favorite place to be. So see, when I got sent to my room when I was younger, I was like, fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. It means I don't have to sit here fucking socialize anymore.
Yeah, that's why we try to make our kids' rooms hell, but it's not working.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work. So
Spike
You
traps.
just use the
everywhere.
room as a toilet.
Yeah.
right. So the Glasgow police released information to the local papers asking if anybody knew who this woman was.
All right.
And on shortly, a woman named Mrs. Johnson called,
Okay.
and she said that her friend Catherine McCloskey
Okay.
had dropped her baby off with her
Oh.
the night before,
Okay.
and said she was running out, but she didn't ever return. And so Catherine was 40 years old, and she was a single parent with 2 older children, and they were both by different fathers.
Uh-oh.
So at that time,
Crikey.
people tended to look down on women who were single and had kids.
Even in Scotland?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Scotland was insane.
Considering,
Oh.
considering.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So, yeah, mainly, mainly Church of Scotland, so Protestants, but Glasgow had quite a heavy Catholic community.
Yes.
It's fairly divided because we've got 2 football teams in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So they've got Rangers, who are the Protestant team, who up until a couple of years ago it was still in their rule book that no Catholics could play
Oh my God.
for Rangers.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only up until about, I think it was about 5 years ago. It might even be sooner than that.
Yeah.
So about 5 years ago, it was still. I think there had been Catholics that were playing for them, but in their manual it said that Catholics couldn't play for them.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
And then on the other side of Glasgow, you've got Celtic, and they're the Catholic team. It was set up by a monk.
Did you say Celtic?
By an Irish monk. Celtic, yeah.
So we dove into a few weeks ago about the difference between the Celtics and Celtic. Like
Yeah.
the word is Celtic, but we always thought the United States called the Boston Celtics they called it wrong. But if you had a Celtic, then Celtic is a thing.
Well, there's a difference between Celtic and Celtic. So Celtic people are sort of Ireland and Scotland.
Okay.
That's the Celts is because Scottish people, we came from Ireland originally.
Okay.
Most of us came from Ireland.
Did your
Although
mother come from Ireland?
the first settlers in Scotland were actually Spanish fishermen, so we were Iberian originally.
Ah.
Oh.
And then we've got the Celts, and then as time sort of went on, you got the Picts and divided up into people, but the Celts is that, and then Celtic is sports teams.
Right. Okay.
Just sports
But
teams.
yeah,
Okay. Huh.
There you
I
go.
think that's crazy that they divided it by religion on the sports teams.
there's actually 3 cities in which that happens. So in Edinburgh, you've got Hibs. Or Hibernian, which is the Catholic team, and you've got Hearts, which is the Protestant team. Wow! And then in Dundee, where I was born,
You guys are from, right? Yeah.
yeah. So you've got Dundee FC, and you've got Dundee United. So Dundee FC is the Protestant team, and Dundee United is the Catholic team, because when it was started, it was called Dundee Hibernian.
Wow.
And then it changed into Dundee United.
Holy crap! I had no idea.
Yeah.
Did you know sports teams were divided by religion there?
No, I did not.
That's crazy. I mean,
It's because with Scotland especially, in the sort of 1840s, with the potato blight in Ireland, a lot of people, like farm labourers that were unemployed, came over to Scotland, and it was, the Scottish Protestants were like, oh my God, all these Irish Catholics coming over here taking our jobs, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
a lot of churches had to be established to take care of
Yeah.
a lot of the poverty that these Irish people were experiencing.
So like
urban environments.
the Protestant foremen wouldn't let Catholics work in certain places, so they were doing they had to set up specific yards, and they wouldn't let them play football with them, so they had to set up different teams so they could play football.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sectarianism is still pretty much still alive in Scotland.
You still get the Orange March, Orange Walk.
Have you heard of the Orange Men?
No, I don't. I mean,
So
we have the Orangemen.
Yeah.
There's, I think that's a Syracuse football team. American football team.
Yeah.
Or
the Orange Men are a group that march. They're Protestants, so they're anti-Catholics, and they have marches where they play like anti-Catholic music. You still
They're
get
associated with violence.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Um,
It'd be like the Proud Boys.
Well, Donald Trump is an orange man. This is really going to be an educational podcast.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm learning
right?
so much.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
learning
talking
so
about
much.
sectarianism, but then Amy, you carry on with your story. We can get on to.
Get
We
onto
could
the
go on this
murder.
forever. Yeah.
That's right. Get under the important shit.
I feel like though, like if we're relying on each other, like them, if we're relying on them to teach us what they've learned in history, and we to tell them what we've learned, like we're gonna get the better end of the deal. They're gonna get shafted
Yeah, that's true.
because I'm a fucking idiot. All right, you go
True.
ahead.
Okay.
I know far less than
Oh,
Daniel
okay.
knows about any of this.
Well, it's because I did history in high school, so I learned all
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
So Mrs. Johnson agreed to babysit the little baby, but she was worried because Catherine McCloskey hadn't turned up and wasn't at her home at 239 Nicholson Street.
Oh.
And she wasn't going to come home.
Uh-oh. Never coming home.
Nope. She died on July 28th lying on Prospect Hill Road in the rain.
Oh, man.
Oh,
And
I thought she just went home.
yeah.
Thing.
Mrs. Johnson was quoted as saying, "Oh, the poor woman, what a tragic accident." And the cops nodded in agreement, made her more tea. I got this part from, hold on, because this obviously isn't my words.
Yeah, you got it from where?
Dailyrecord.co.uk
Daily Record.
by Reg McKay.
Reg
Yeah,
McKay.
the Daily Record is a tabloid newspaper.
Oh,
over there.
good.
Ah.
Oh, good.
Oh, great. That
So
makes
this
it better.
might all be bullshit.
I think owned by Murdoch. You
Yeah.
have Murdoch
Fuck
owns
Rupert
media
Murdoch.
as well,
I
don't
also
you?
Fox
got-
News.
Yeah.
That guy sucks.
Not that you're going to be listening to this, you old cunt.
That's right.
But fuck you, Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah,
That's
you will never
right.
listen
God
to this.
damn it. And also the GlasgowTimes.co.uk. Is that any better?
The Glasgow Times, is that better?
Time sounds Tory-ish.
Okay.
The
God, we can't
Tories are
win.
the conservatives, which are like they're basically your Democrats, but to us they're Republicans.
Okay.
The right wing.
Oh, right.
Okay.
That's all you
Yeah.
need to say.
But they share the liberal ideology of the Democrats.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't get that.
As far as I know.
Yeah, so your right wing is much more, your right wing is a bit more mainstream than ours. Like, we've got parties like UKIP and the Brexit Party and BNP that sort
Right.
of sit over on the far right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't occupy any part of our mainstream politics.
That's not true. The Brexit Party are like overwhelmingly in the European Parliament now.
They're not in the European Parliament. They've lost their jobs because we've left the EU now.
Well, yeah, but they're still there until the trade agreements are settled. No.
No, they've gone.
They're off.
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, it shows how much I
Girls,
know.
you're both. Girls, you're both pretty.
Oh, wow. That's, that's crazy how much it's the same with the right wing,
Yeah, I
the
know.
small group taking over at times. That
It's not that
don't
small.
represent it.
It was almost half of our country.
Oh, yeah, the people. Yeah, I don't believe it.
I
mean-
but you live in the South. You know, you've seen
Right.
it.
All right. I mean, but
I got stopped in traffic by one of those Trump trains, and I swear to God, it must have been over 100 pickup trucks with big Trump flags.
Right.
Like, it was a lot of fucking people.
I guess what I'm saying is that it's a small amount of people that run it all, and they've brainwashed a larger amount of people, I guess.
Oh, my God.
Is what it seems like.
Scary.
Anyway.
Did you guys mention the Proud Boys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That's Gavin McInnes, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I know they wear Hawaiian shirts.
They were wearing kilts.
Oh, they were?
The last time they were wearing...
That's fucking cultural appropriation
it
if ever I fucking heard
it
it.
is.
It is.
Get my fucking national dress off, you pricks.
That's right.
Racist.
Fucking
punks,
assholes.
Nazi punks. Fuck
yeah. They're awful.
They're garbage.
So, anyway, let me go back to my story here.
Back to your story.
Back to a pleasant
Back to the
pleasant murder of Mrs. Mccluskey.
So, Mrs. Johnston said she was making a new life for herself, she said, was going to settle down with a new man, the baby's daddy.
Oh, the baby daddy.
A decent man with a good job by all accounts. In fact, he's one of you lot. So what the cops already knew but didn't tell Mrs. Johnston or any member of the public yet was that Catherine McCluskey's death was no accident.
Uh-oh.
So a post-mortem had found her legs weren't broken, which was unusual because when a pedestrian's usually knocked over by a car, their legs get broken, yeah. And there was only one explanation for that. She was already on the ground when the car ran over her. Uh-huh. Worse than that, her internal injuries supported the view Officer Kevin. A car had run over her several times, which was where why they had all the tire tracks. Yeah. So, her head and facial injuries were also more consistent with a beating than a car accident. So they realized it was murder for sure.
Okay.
The first person they had to track down, if only to rule out, was her lover. Mrs. Johnston had never met the man and only knew his surname, Robertson.
Okay.
So there were several Robertsons in the city of Glasgow police because she said he was one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was a Polis.
That's right.
Is what we'd call.
Oh, okay. Or Bobby, isn't that what?
Bobby?
A Bobby Pig.
It's more English.
English, that's right.
Bobby's an English thing, but we'd say he's a
filth.
He's a Polis.
Polis.
The filth.
Okay.
Polis.
Huh.
All right.
That's funny. I've never heard that before.
Hold on. Now I lost my place. Hold on.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, so they got a call from an alert desk sergeant who had picked up through the grapevine that they were looking for a policeman by the name of Robertson. So he suggested they start with Officer James Robertson, who he knew was having marriage problems and had been seeing someone else.
Uh-oh,
so he's
cheating on his wife.
I know somebody, a guy that fits this bill. So Officer Robertson denied knowing Catherine McCloskey. He said he didn't even know who she was. But they interrogated him anyway.
All right.
Because usually, a lot of times in a case like this, the killer is either the boyfriend or the husband.
What do you suppose a 1950 Scottish interrogation would be like?
Fucking tell us you did it, you cunt.
Is there?
Did you fucking do it?
Is there?
Did you fucking know this woman?
Is there good cop, bad cop?
Bad cop.
Bad cop.
Bad cop. Worst cop. It's just bad cop. It's just either you get your face smashed into the desk or the wall.
Yeah.
That's your choices.
Yeah, really.
I'm thinking of. This is a sad thing. This is a stereotype I have of Scotland. Like sometimes I think of train spotting. Just train spotting. Just everything train spot. When we went there last year, was it last year, 2 years ago when we went? My only concern was that I would end up like living this train spotting life. Like I'd be like.
You thought you were going to become a junkie.
Yeah.
The moment you set foot at Edinburgh Airport, they hand you a bag of smack and a needle. And they're like, oh!
Yeah, really. All right, so the police didn't want to consider that a fellow police officer was a murderer, but they had to be thorough, so they interrogated him.
Yeah.
And then they traced his movements on the night in question and found out that he was out on the beat at the time of the killing.
All right.
So they interviewed Robertson's partner, Officer Dugald Moffat, and found out that for some time...
Dugald Moffat, y'all.
Moffat had been covering for Robertson.
All right.
According to Moffat, Robertson had a bit on the side, a, quote, fancy woman.
Oh, a fancy woman.
Robertson's wife was getting wise to the situation and watched every move he made, which made it
a fancy piece.
Yeah,
is
fancy,
probably,
yeah.
is probably what it says.
Fancy piece.
Yeah, I probably.
A fancy piece,
Oh, that sounds nice.
which is very derogatory, but that would have been fine back then.
Back then. Yeah. So Robertson's wife kind of knew what was going on, so she was watching him like a hawk. So
Yeah.
what he would do is he would go to his partner and say, I'm going to go for a couple hours. You
Yeah.
tell everybody that I'm with you or that I'm
Sure.
wherever,
Yeah.
So that's what he'd been doing. But the only problem, so they started thinking, this is our guy.
Yeah.
But then the only problem was that his beat on that night was really far from the crime scene. And they asked bus drivers, and none of the bus drivers remembered a policeman.
Okay.
And so, but he did have a car, and it was an old Austin saloon car, which I looked up. There were just think Bonnie and Clyde type car.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Beautiful cars.
yeah, really, really pretty. So
That's the thing that you know if she was hit by multiple cars. Like, I love 50s cars, so I'm just thinking I would probably just be thinking, what fucking lovely cars.
Yeah,
Never mind
the whole
body, they're
time.
beautiful.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, look at the bodywork.
So they so they impounded the car and searched it.
Yeah.
And right away in the undercarriage they found blood, fragments of flesh, and clothes.
Ew.
So
That was the car.
Yikes.
They got the right
that
one.
was it. Yes. So
Unless there'd been another murder.
yeah. Can you imagine running over somebody 5 times?
Well, I gotta
You've
say,
been imagining that a lot.
No,
haven't you?
I've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, that's true.
And so sometimes I'd play it while I drink my coffee
Do you
in the
guys
morning.
have you played Grand Theft Auto?
You're
okay,
familiar.
okay.
Sometimes I'll play it and I won't even do any missions. I'll just go to the beach with a car and I'll just run over people. Up and down the beach, running over
And
people.
then I ask him,
It's very
why are you doing that? And he says, I'm teaching them lessons.
I'm teaching those people
I'm teaching
lessons.
some people lessons.
You got to be alert when you're on the beach. At night, they're on a fire, and I'm just running over them all. And I can just go up and down the beach.
I
and
know,
and the
you
police
do
can't
that.
get me. They just keep chasing me up and down. They never get
And
me.
they just keep respawning, and there's
more
and
people.
more, and
I can just keep
You
going.
just need to think they're not people, so they don't mind. Just fucking murder them. And you can, and if it gets too heated, pause the game.
Oh my God.
I don't
and
know.
It all
It's-
goes away.
It's surprisingly cathartic to just run over people on the beach over and over and over again.
I can just imagine you
cut
sort
that
of
out
wide-eyed.
for a future lawsuit. it's
Yeah.
just so cathartic to run over people.
I can just imagine you
Did
like.
you say this, Joe?
No.
We were talking about a murder being pinned on you.
I know. And then he said shit like that.
Fucking
coming
go.
together.
I will say it does. I know I'm playing too much when I get in my car. And, we're in quarantine. We're in a pandemic, so I don't go out much. It's more often now that I'm playing the game that I'm driving my car. So when I go out in my Prius
You
and
start
I drive,
running people over?
No, but when I see somebody in like a scooter, I'm like, boy, if I was in that game, I would run them over right now and then go back to my lane.
Now, I've heard a stereotype about Prius drivers that they are the most insane drivers in America. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to say I've been to America a couple of times, and I'm going to make a sweeping generalization.
Yeah.
You guys can't fucking drive. You can't fucking.
You
drive.
don't have roundabouts,
Yeah,
right?
we do.
We're starting to get them.
Starting to get 'em.
You
We're
do?
getting more and more.
Oh.
Yeah, I love roundabouts.
You're
There's-
learning.
Fun fact as well, in Dundee slang, we don't call them roundabouts, we call them circles.
Circles.
So you drive down to the circle. You don't drive to a roundabout. You drive down to the circle.
Now,
Okay.
I have to say, our cab driver on the way back to the airport, I thought I was going to lose my life. That guy drove like such a nut
Oh, in Edinburgh.
in Edinburgh.
And that's the guy.
Bus drivers and taxi drivers
Yeah.
are fucking maniacs.
my
It's one of the
God.
prerequisites of the job. Must be a fucking psycho. Must be have minimal driving skills.
Yeah.
But you think you're in the F1.
Well, that's in Chicago. That's Chicago too. That's our New York. That's our big
Yeah,
city.
that's true. Yes.
Yeah, but that's the guy who taught me what a zebra crossing was. So I'm
Right.
very thankful to that guy.
You are. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. So they, let's see. Now I got to find out.
Back to the murder.
I know,
Back
and
to
I-
the grisly run. They just ran her over.
So
They found all the
they
clothing.
found all
and
the
guts.
There we go.
And the
Okay,
guts on the
so they
bottom of the
charged
car?
him with murder.
All right.
And his charge stated that he struck Mccluskey on the head with a rubber truncheon, which is like a kind of like a police baton thing.
Oh, I'm so relieved because I went to the computer earlier and I saw that you were Googling a rubber truncheon, and I was like, oh my god, Amy just bought one of these and it's gonna kill me. Now I know why you were Googling that. I thought,
Or she was being euphemistic and she was trying to research something else that's rubber and
Yeah, really.
phallic shaped.
honestly, I thought she was buying one for our son. I thought he wanted that, and you were buying it for him on Amazon. or whatever.
God.
That's why you were looking at a rubber truncheon.
She's just gonna wait until you're asleep and just batter.
Yeah, I
your
know.
puss in.
Just smash his
Oh,
brains
trust
out.
me, her obsession with murder has me worried. I say on the podcast all the time, if I'm murdered, she did it.
I hope you guys aren't gun owners, because if you are, you're
I
fucked.
know,
No,
right?
we do not own
no,
any guns.
I've never even held a gun, I don't think.
Yeah, I shot a gun once when I was in 5th grade.
You did?
It was New Year's Eve, and we were at somebody's house, and they had one of those guns you shoot, a rifle to shoot in the air.
Are you insane?
It hurt. It like the kickback hurt me, and I was upset.
Oh my God.
I go clay pigeon shooting quite often.
Okay.
That's good fun.
Oh yeah.
Fuck off, you do. When was the last time you went clay pigeon shooting?
I went with my dad before the pandemic started.
Aye, so quite often.
Oh, fuck
This is March.
I mean, we play laser tag here and there. And
Yeah,
stuff,
lasers. I
but-
play laser tag. Nerf guns.
Nerf guns are good. Yeah, they're great fun.
So he was also, and he was also charged that he drove a motor car carrying false registration plates over her, causing her death.
Oh.
And he also,
Wait, and this is a police car.
a policeman, yeah.
Wait,
Is it a
was
police
he in a
car?
Oh
police
no,
car?
it wasn't a police car. It was that Austin
Right,
saloon
okay.
car.
I was thinking if he's got a police car that doesn't have the right registration plates, like he's fucking asking to be called.
Yeah,
yeah.
He got this. I think he must apparently stole this car and to run over her
Wow.
purposely. So
Christ.
Why he did it? Why?
well, he also faced additional charges of housebreaking and theft. He was accused of breaking into a premises on Cumberland Street and stealing a car from West Campbell Street months prior to the murder.
All
so
right.
that's where that
He's
comes
already
from.
in trouble. Yeah.
Charged with the murder, James Robertson denied all the charges. He did then admit to he knew Catherine McCloskey, but
Oh.
not to having an affair with her or killing her. He claimed he had sneaked off shift to see her that night and had hidden his car up a street near his beat just for that purpose.
Oh.
When they met, they argued fiercely, he claimed, and he had stormed off, jumping into the car and driving away at speed.
Okay.
After he'd ran over her 5 times.
Right.
Yeah. So when did he run over?
Well,
her,
then
according
he
to him?
said he felt bad about the argument and had changed his mind. He braked hard and reversed back to where Catherine was. He felt a bump.
he went to apologize.
Getting
and he ran
out of the
over.
car, he saw he had driven over her. That is what he said happened.
I would swear I was going to apologize,
Right?
not just back her over. Now, playing GTA, I would tell you, I back over people all the time
I know.
on purpose.
I know. So, driving off in a panic, he had hidden his car on a side street and rejoined his partner as if nothing had happened.
Okay.
That was Officer Robertson's defense when he turned up for trial at the High Court, Glasgow, on November 6, 1950.
Oh, November 6, 1950, the same day that back in the United States, Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts was on CBS. It was an American radio and television variety show, which ran from 46 to 58, sponsored by Lipton Tea. It starred Arthur Godfrey, who was also hosting Arthur Godfrey and his friends at the same time. His nickname was the Old Redhead.
Jesus.
It was like a variety show talent type. It was like an American Idol.
That was a lot quicker, what you just said.
It was?
Yeah,
You didn't like that?
it was an
I've
American
been waiting
Idol.
to get to that date
You
for a
wanted
while.
to? Oh.
Yeah.
So Scotland was appalled. The charges amounted to a terrible and brutal murder of a woman.
Scotland.
And the cops were accusing another cop.
They hate it when you say Scotland, don't you?
Scotland. How about that?
They're getting pissed, these
You're better.
guys.
What you can say, if you go for the Gaelic word, so you can say Alaba.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Alaba. It's the Gaelic word for Scotland.
Oh, Oliver?
Alaba.
Alaba.
He's being nice because he could have said
Yeah.
So Robertson's lawyer did a heroic job of defending him, but he faced a difficult task. One interesting witness was the victim's sister, Elizabeth Mccluskey, who told the court she had no idea who had fathered the children of her unmarried sibling. She told the court that she had asked her sister the intentions of the youngest child's father, and in court, Elizabeth said she was talking about her sister.
Yeah.
Told me that he could not do anything as he was a married man, and she had found out too late.
Uh-oh.
The police gave evidence on his car. Not just the blood and the flesh stuck to it, but it was stolen and had false number plates.
Ooh.
So,
It's not looking
yeah.
good.
So James Robertson was proven to be a thief and, more importantly, a liar. It took a jury an hour to find him guilty of beating Catherine unconscious, then deliberately running over her again and again in his car on November 13th, 1950.
Oh, November 13th. It was the same day that in New York, CBS gave the public its first demonstrations of its new color television technology.
Oh.
The closed-circuit broadcast shown in a display window on Fifth Avenue featured various segments with model Patty Painter wearing a striped blouse while displaying red and yellow roses, a bowl of fresh fruit, colorful packs of soap and cigarettes.
I knew cigarettes were going to be in there.
Flags of various nations with lots of colors on them.
They're good for
And
Camel cigarettes, 9 out of 10 doctors smoke 'em.
That's right. Back in those days.
Cure your asthma.
It's the same day.
Yes. And then, I hate to do this, but here comes another date. On December 16th, 1950.
Oh, the same day that Sing It Again was on CBS? The show's gimmick was this. A song would first be performed straight, then sung again, hence the show's title, with new lyrics describing a famous celebrity. If the contestant solved the easy puzzle, he would have the opportunity to try to identify the phantom voice from the clues that had been piling up during the preceding weeks. The jackpot was huge for its time, $25,000 in cash.
Wow.
That is over $75 billion today.
No, it's not.
Or something.
No.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not.
Maybe.
No, he made that up.
That is such a fucking niche idea for a television
Have you got any
show.
of the songs for us?
I don't. But I do know that the program was featured in the 1950 James Stewart film Jackpot. So if you guys do that next on our next episode,
Oh my
with
God,
you guys,
no! I bet it's awful.
It's probably terrible. But it also was.
You've
It's
decided
one of the
now.
first shows that was simulcast on TV and radio.
Oh.
Later in 1950. I think. So.
Just $25,000 was $862,305.
Wow.
And
I was
Oh no,
close.
this is pounds. Sorry, I'm looking at pounds.
Pounds, yeah.
That's the wrong fucking.
That's like over $1
Bear with
million.
me. Bear with me. $25,000. It is.
Yeah, he's the money
Well,
guy.
that's fucking weird. So $269,000, 947 and 10 cents.
What you might have done is put in an extra zero when you searched
Yeah,
it first.
probably. Did.
Yeah, it probably is.
I'm a bit drunk, so
Well,
yeah,
that's
probably.
the way.
We're all a bit
It's like
something.
midnight your time now.
That's right. Okay, so
It's coming up to that.
at I can't say this. Bardlini Prison?
Barlini.
Barlini
Yeah, see?
Prison. Albert Pierpont made Scottish legal history when he hanged James Robertson on that date.
Crikey.
So since records have been kept, Officer James Robertson was the only serving policeman to be executed for a crime committed while on duty.
Wow.
And that's the murder of
He was
Catherine
on duty.
McCloskey.
That's great.
Yeah.
That was good. That was fun. That was interesting, right?
was-
Yeah, we like it.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you,
clapping. Now we gotta have to take a quick break.
I
'cause
know, me too.
I have to let
Yep.
the old.
Yeah.
I'd like.
Let's
Yes.
take a quick
I
bathroom
need to
break,
wee-wee.
refresh our beers, and then we'll jump back in, fellas. Good.
Sounds good.
All right.
Five.
Right, I'll
Take
see you
five.
in a couple of minutes.
All right.
The Nerd School Podcast.
I brought three nerds here to help me be a real true nerd. I love Marvel movies. I love superhero movies.
Nerds like nothing better than to be able to talk about their nerd shit. The people who are actually interested in the nerd shit.
And like I'd walk in the comic book store and I'd see them, they're playing Warhammer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, Warhammer.
And I'm like sitting
I
there and
will
I'm
say some male nerds back in the day probably would not have let you walk into the arcade and hang out with
looking through
them.
the books and like I'm listening to these guys and like they're really into it. Like their whole life is this Warhammer game.
Yeah.
And I'm
All
like
the
some-
nerds that I ever like made fun of or picked on were all just laughing at me getting revenge, and I was just like,
But
right.
we didn't need to be around you male nerds to be nerds on our own.
If you're in a good gaming group, they'll welcome new people. They'll
Like I'm walking out of the comic store, like is someone going to see me saying like, "Oh, he's one of those guys," you know, those can't get a girl kind of guys.
We are just vibing because we all like this thing, and it's not that.
The Nerd School Podcast.
And so let's just jump right back and thank you everybody for waiting on our break, which I don't know if we're gonna do a break, but welcome back to American
I had the
Timelines.
lovely wee.
And we're gonna jump right to Nathan's story. So Nathan, you're on.
I'm very nervous because
you're on
this
the
isn't
spot.
nearly as well researched.
Oh,
as
that's
Amy's.
fine.
No, mine was pretty much a tabloid.
Yeah,
so.
I never am either. She spends all the time researching, and I just give you a little blurb, so you can be like my blurb type of thing. So
Right. Okay. My story is about the Knockshinnoch mining disaster
Ooh.
of September the 7th, 1950. So on the night of September the 7th, 130 men were trapped in the mine when the mossy and peaty ground above collapsed in on them. Flood waters began to pour in, and rescuers attempted to stem the tide with bales of hay, timber, and any other materials available. The biggest danger to the miners was that the ventilating system had been blocked by mud, so their oxygen supply had been cut off.
Oh my god.
It must be fucking terrifying.
yeah.
You know that really quick. There was a mining disaster, and I can't remember. And this is going to be really vague because it's just off the top of my head. But there was like 3 men, and they were trapped in a mine, and one of them had a watch. This might end up being like some kind of
urban legend
or Buddhist story or something. But only one of them had a watch, and he. The other ones would ask him what time it was, and he would always lie.
Yeah.
He's the only one that didn't survive.
Because he knew the real time.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
No.
And I don't know, like I said, that might be some kind of Buddhist
Like,
koan
what
or
was he
something.
lying? Was he lying and telling him it was less time or
Yeah.
more time?
Less.
Past?
Less.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't want them to feel like, you know, we've
They've been here forever.
Yeah.
They're not getting
Yeah.
rescued.
Christ.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Speaking about rescue teams, the rescue teams, their plan was to go in and try and dig their way through to the miners from a nearby colliery, which is, I don't know if the word in America is like another mine shaft nearby. 30 feet away, so they would have only been 30 feet away from the miners. But they found out, because it had been disused for so long, it had filled up with noxious gas. So if they tried to dig at all with pickaxes, one spark and the whole place explodes.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
So what they had to do, and I couldn't find any actual reporting on this, but BBC did a report on this in 2015. They said that somehow they got a message to the miners who had been trapped, and they had to start digging themselves out, somehow figuring out the direction with whatever they had available, so pickaxes, shovels, and their bare hands in some instances. So there are no records of the contemporary reports up until the September 11th, but 116 of the miners were rescued. So the majority of them made it out alive. It took 3 days for them to get everyone out. And Willie Lopez, who was in his 90s when this was reported,
Oh my God.
he said, "When I saw this deluge of moss and peat, I thought to myself, who could survive in a thing like this? Because the force would be that great, it would have taken everything in front of it, everything and everybody." And Willie Lopez returned to work at the mine after he'd been rescued.
Oh my God.
Fucking madman. Yeah. So over the next year, bodies were periodically found when they were like excavating the rest of the mines. I could find that 9 bodies were found, but at least 4 to 5 were never found. Maybe my research is just bad, but they just never found.
So did it collapse, or did they just run out of oxygen and die in them?
I don't know.
I wonder.
I don't know.
Those would be different ways to die for sure.
Well, how many got out? How many survived?
116 got out.
Oh shit.
That's
a lot.
So
Ugh.
14 presumed. Well, 9 of them
Yeah.
were found. 13 are presumed
13,
dead.
yeah.
The numbers don't really add up because there's a memorial with 13 names
Yeah.
on it. But if 130 made it out and 160 or 116 made it out and 130 were trapped, then there's just one guy
Sounds
missing.
like a story problem. Like if
Yeah.
113 miners go in a shaft,
Yeah, really.
9 of them have a memorial. What part of Scotland is
Nice.
this?
There you go. Ayrshire. Daniel, where's Ayrshire?
Ayrshire is the west, so it's
Oh, right. Well,
So it's
you know,
Tupac.
who cares?
Ayrshire.
Yeah.
Ayrshire is well, Ayr is where the bard Robbie Burns is from.
That doesn't help us.
Do you know who?
I don't know. Is that a? I don't know. Is that?
You don't know who Robbie Burns
No.
is?
I don't think so.
Right.
Really?
Well, I will know
He's
something.
one of our biggest experts.
For old
Experts.
acquaintance.
Since
Oh.
be forgotten.
Oh, his name
Never
is
brought
Auld
to
Lang
mind.
Syne. Yes.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
wrote Auld Lang Syne.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mhm. He's the greatest poet that this country has ever produced, and
Sorry.
My Love Is Like a Red Red Rose.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Wrote that. Tam O'Shanter, a man's a
Yeah.
man for all, a
Okay.
man's a
He's
man.
apparently a bit of a womanizer.
Yes,
Okay.
oh no, he did he was a bit of a, or in Scotland they'd call him a hoormeister.
Okay.
Whoremeister.
So he's a wee bit of hoormeister, but no, it's very scary stuff considering that. So where my dad's side of the family are from, Fife, that is like Fife is pretty much exclusively. It's got 3 industries. So we're talking agriculture,
Yeah.
we're talking fishing and mining.
Okay.
And if tracing back my family, they were all miners.
Okay.
Oh.
So they were all working down in the pits, as we call them.
Yeah.
So they're in the pits, or they were electricians that were working above ground. So if we hadn't sort of progressed as a people, chances are my family would still be miners.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I'd be a miner.
But Maggie Thatcher came along
Aye. And
ruined everyone's
the less said
lives.
about that bint, the better. Do you know about Margaret Thatcher?
Yeah.
Yes. We're my
Yeah.
my fantasy football team's name is Margaret Thatcher Crunch.
For some reason.
Just because we started talking about on draft night, like if there was a cereal named after Margaret Thatcher, what would it be called? And I chose Margaret Thatcher Crunch.
Guess so.
Or Margaret Thatcher O's. That would be the other one. But
Yeah.
I like Crunch better.
There you go.
That was great. Well, that was pretty cool. That was good. That was quick and interesting.
I just can't imagine. I don't know. I've been down in a cave,
Yeah.
and the further deep I got so creeped out. I just don't know how.
Claustrophobic.
Yes,
and all
the
that,
feeling
yeah.
of being under the
Yeah.
ground. You have to like
Yeah.
remove your mind from the reality of where you are almost.
Oh yeah.
You see these videos. I remember I went cave crawling once when I was really young, and you like squeeze
Oh,
yourself.
God,
What's it
no.
called? Like you squeeze yourself through like.
Oh, it's a
crags
really
and
funny
stuff.
name. Spelunking.
Yeah.
Spelunking,
Oh, right.
Yes.
It might be
Oh
spelunking,
no, I could
yeah.
never do that.
It wasn't like proper deep down, but you see the like when I was doing that as a kid, I got claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But you see these people like squeeze through these tiny cracks, and it's all like sheer rock and stuff, and they go deep down
Oh,
into
God,
the
no.
earth. And
You've just
very
reminded me of a
surreal.
really, really interesting story, actually.
Go for it.
There was oh Christ. So have you guys heard of Nutty Putty Cave in Utah?
No.
No, I haven't.
Right. So Nutty Putty Cave, there was so it was sort of in the lead up to Thanksgiving.
Okay.
This guy called John Edward Jones and his wife and his newly born child, they went to go and visit his family, and their family were avid spelunkers. So a couple of days before Thanksgiving, they went to this place called Nutty Putty Cave, and him and his friends sort of split off from the group to go to this bit that was, I think it was called the birth canal.
Oh my
this
God.
section. And he turned off on a wrong bit, and he kept on going until he got to this sort of hole in the ground, and he couldn't turn round, so he thought, I'll just go through there and I'll be able to turn. So he basically went in and he got stuck like upside down.
Oh God.
So the blood was rushing to his head.
Ugh.
And they went and got help, and the rescuers. It took half an hour for rescuers to get to him, and by the time the equipment that was needed to get him, they realised that they were going to have to break his legs to actually get him out. And he'd been upside down for about a day at that point.
Oh my
and
God.
the shock would have killed him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And basically they stopped hearing his voice after a while, and he was unresponsive.
Yeah,
So
at that point.
he died, and he's still in there.
No way.
Oh, really?
He's still in the cave. Yeah.
Jeez.
So his family and the people that own Nutty Putty Cave, they cemented the opening up.
Yeah.
So he is stuck.
Well, I was
in there.
gonna say, yeah, if you're a bit slimmer, you could go down and.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
no way.
No, he's in there.
Reminds me of that. What's
Oh
that
my
movie
God.
with
127 hours.
Jimmy?
27
Yeah, or
hours.
what's the guy's name in that? James Franco.
Franco.
Yeah,
James Franco,
Where he had to
yeah.
it's about the guy who had the guy. That's a real story, right? The guy chewed his arm off or something to get out of there.
He cut it off with
Sawed
like a
off.
multi-tool.
Yeah, I that's one of those movies like I don't want to see that. Like that movie and like the one where Tom Hanks fucks the volleyball.
Nobody, no. That is not what happened
on
in
the
that movie.
beach.
He definitely fucked that volleyball.
Yeah, like those like I don't. He definitely
There's
fucked the
nothing
volleyball.
else
right?
to do.
Like those kind of, the worst one was that one you and I watched where that couple's on their honeymoon.
Oh,
and they're in the
shallow
water?
or no, what's it called?
It's like
Where they're stuck
they're
in the ocean.
They're scuba diving
They're
or whatever.
snorkeling, and the cruise ship leaves them.
They
It's a
leave
true
'em.
story.
And the whole rest of the movie is just them stuck in the water,
treading in the middle of the
treading
ocean,
water the whole time.
and there's sharks that come.
Oh, I
and-
feel like I've seen that.
Fucking hell, fuck that.
I'm just like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this.
that is one of my biggest fears, being trapped out in the middle of the
open
ocean.
Fucking
It is
terrifying.
so that and outer space. That's the other thing that scares the shit out of me.
See, I'd go to space because see if you just decided it was a bit too much, you just take your helmet off, your lungs get sucked flat, you burn and
You're
freeze
dead
at the same time.
immediately.
Oh
And
my
you're-
God.
And also your blood boils, so you're just instantly.
No, that's what she's afraid of.
You're right.
Yeah, but no, right. I get that, but it's instant. Underwater, I was gonna say it takes a while to drown, but also apparently there's like a euphoria that happens when you drown. Like it's reported that you experience just euphoria
Really?
at the end of it all.
So there's
apparently.
it takes about 3 minutes because there's two. I learned this the other week. There's two types of drowning. There is a dry drown and a wet drown.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
So a wet drown is basically when you basically inhale water into your lungs, and then that's what kills you.
Yeah.
Whereas a dry drown is where a reflex in your trachea basically stops it. It completely cuts it off, so you physically can't breathe anything.
Yeah.
And then you die that way. So, but I've heard that from multiple sources that apparently drowning is one of the most peaceful ways to die because there's like you go through different stages. Like there's the struggle period where you're sort of gasping for air, and then the sort of last bit is you're just sort of
Very calm.
drifting
You're like, it's
away,
almost like
calm,
going back
yeah.
in the birth canal or something.
Ah.
You know, you're back in the amniotic fluid.
I don't want to know that. I don't want to think about this.
No.
All right. Why don't Daniel? Why don't we jump to your December thing then and see?
Right,
And then if we
okay.
have extra time, I'll throw my stupid things in there. But I think this is plenty.
yeah.
This is all great stuff. This is great.
All right, quit bragging.
so-
Feel free to cut as much of Daniel as you want.
Yeah, because I'm just taking these all
I'm
fucking
fascinated. Like you guys are teaching us so many things that just about life in general. That's great.
All right. Calm it down.
You
I
calm
know,
it
we're
down.
wise.
All right, we're calm. Daniel, take it away.
Right, so I'm going to tell you about the removal of the Stone of Scone.
Okay.
And it's a removal, it's not a theft.
Okay.
Because
No,
a theft would be taking something that doesn't belong to you. In this
That
case,
doesn't rightfully,
it's
yeah.
something that did belong to us.
Okay.
So the Stone of Scone, it also goes by many different names, including the Stone of Destiny, the Coronation Stone, Jacob's Pillow, the Tanis Stone, and in Gaelic it's Clwch
Okay.
I can't say
So
that.
Pronunciation debatable.
it's an oblong block of red sandstone that's been used for centuries in the coronation of monarchs of Scotland, and later when the monarchs of Scotland became monarchs of England as well.
Yeah.
And also in the
Union
corner,
of the Crowns.
the monarchs of Great Britain and latterly the United Kingdom following the treaties of the Union in 1707.
1707.
Yeah.
Okay.
Its size is 26 inches by 16.7 inches by 26.7, and its weight is approximately 335 pounds.
You guys are you guys are
So,
so polite and generous to put those in
Yeah,
inches
to-
and
to-
pounds.
yeah, to
Thank
tell
you.
us those
I'm just trying to give you. It's a big fucking book.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
what it is. So a roughly in-sized cross is on one surface, and an iron ring is at each side, which aids with transportation. And the stone was last used in 1953 for the coronation of Elizabeth II. So our current queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Down with the monarch.
Yeah. Yeah, down with the monarch. Basically, in 1296, the stone was taken by Edward I of England as the spoils of war, and he took it to Westminster Abbey, where it was fitted into a wooden chair known as King Edward's chair, on which most subsequent English and then British sovereigns have been crowned. So he basically declared himself the King of the Scots when he took it.
Was it taken?
He claims
Let me just really quick. Was it taken from Edinburgh Castle?
No, it was kept at Schoon Palace, Schoon Abbey. It's near Perth.
Oh,
in
okay.
Scotland.
I felt like I heard
Perth
this story
is-
when we were there.
As we would pronounce it, Perth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Perth.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it differs from different parts of the country. Like I just happen to say Perth. People say Perth.
Well, I just realized as you were starting the story that you were saying, when you say Gaelic, that's we pronounce it Gaelic, right?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying
it's-
garlic
pronounce
because
it either
garlic
way.
is a whole
Yeah.
different thing. It's a food.
Jeez.
That's what I thought you
The
were saying at
language
first. I
of
was like, garlic? Does garlic?
Yeah, so it's
Gaelic.
Gaelic because the word for the language is Gallica. If you're actually speaking Gaelic, it's Gaelic.
Yeah.
Gaelic is
Gaelic
it's
is how we
Scottish. So most people say Gaelic to refer to Scottish Gaelic.
Yeah.
Very
And they
few
say-
people still speak
Oh.
Yeah,
Gaelic
it's-
in Scotland. It's mostly Outer Hebrides and
Yeah.
West Coast Islands and stuff.
Also, people in Nova Scotia get taught Scottish.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Because Nova Scotia and Gaelic is New Scotland.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So when the Scots
Scotia, that
went to
makes
Canada,
sense.
they settled in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
But if you ever come back to Scotland and you go north enough, you'll start seeing signs in Gaelic.
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
next time we're gonna
when you
try to
reach a
take more
certain
time to
point.
go see other stuff.
Yeah.
You should come up. Sarah and I were saying we'll have you up here.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that'd
come
be
and
awesome.
visit.
Yeah, if we can go
Nevis
back
will.
for sure, we will visit you guys. and
Yes, that would
we'll
be so
record
fun.
100
No, we'll-
podcasts.
Yeah.
Just put them in the can.
Come up and we'll
Just
we'll
road trip podcasts.
We'll show you Dundee and Forfar where we are just now.
Yes.
Nice. That would be awesome.
Yes. What was this? Yeah. So and Gaelic, what you said, most people that's what they refer to as Irish.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the languages are very similar. Scotch Gaelic comes from Gaelic.
Yeah.
But there's some differences. Yeah, so
Edward I.
Edward I sought to claim his status as Lord Paramount of Scotland with the right to oversee its king. And then later on, the next century, so in the Treaty of Northampton in 1328 between the Kingdom of Scotland and the Kingdom of England, England agreed to return the captured stone to Scotland, but riotous crowds prevented it from being removed from Westminster Abbey. So the stone remained in England for another 6 centuries,
Jeez.
even after James VI of Scotland. So James VI of Scotland, he was James Stuart, and he became the king of England as well. So he was James the First of England.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, yeah, so he was James the First.
That
Yeah.
was the Union of the Crowns, wasn't it?
No, the Union of the Crowns wasn't.
was that the Union?
Yeah, no, that was the that was the Union of the Crowns. Yeah, and for the next century, the Stuarts,
Cyprus.
kings and queens of Scotland once again sat on the stone, but at their coronation as kings and queens of England. Then we come to the year 1950. So that was your historical context.
Yes,
of
that
what
gives a
what the
backstory,
st- of
yeah.
what-
Got
of
it.
what the stone is.
1950.
Yeah.
and the importance of it to Scotland. So, in 1950, Ian Hamilton, a student at the University of Glasgow, approached Gavin Vernon with a plan to remove the Stone of Scone from Westminster Abbey in London and return it to Scotland. Sorry.
Wow.
Okay. The plan was funded by a Glasgow businessman called Robert Gray, who was a councillor on the Glasgow Corporation.
Huh.
Vernon agreed to participate in the plan along with Kay Matheson and Alan Stewart,
Matheson.
who were also students in Glasgow.
That's my family, the Matheson clan.
Mathesons.
Yes.
My cousins are.
Yeah,
Mathesons
we're
as
related.
well.
The Mathesons. We came over
Oi,
from.
oi.
Yeah, I've traced it back. We'll get together and talk about who the Matheson. Duncan.
Oh, that'd be
Duncan
fucking-
Matheson was my great grandfather. Duncan Matheson.
Oh wow.
So
I knew
connect
him.
that name. You knew him? I knew it.
Yeah.
we can't.
That's right.
Anyway, by removing the stone, the group hoped to promote their cause for Scottish devolution and to reawaken a sense of national identity amongst the Scottish people. So yeah, it's different now, but Scotland was ruled from Westminster in London.
Mm-hmm.
So they controlled all of our stuff.
Today, Scotland has a devolved parliament.
Yeah.
It was the first devolved parliament in the world, meaning that we control a fair amount of our own laws, but a lot of stuff is still controlled by Westminster, the
Like,
UK
in
parliament.
terms of things like going to war,
Oh.
that's still controlled by Westminster.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is where a lot of arguments for independence come
Yeah.
up, and we see a lot of it now with the way that Boris has handled COVID.
Yeah.
There's a big resurgence in Scotland independence claims.
Yes. So in December 1950, a few days before Christmas, the 4 students from Glasgow drove to London in 2 Ford Anglias, a journey which took them 18 hours.
Oh.
So, I think
18 hours?
18 hours, yeah.
Make it to London?
Yeah, well, this is in Ford Anglias, and in 1950 the cars weren't.
Yeah, really.
And I don't know what the motorway,
Probably like
the
25 miles
motorway
per
system
hour.
was like then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They must have stopped a lot.
Taking a lot of pee breaks.
Yeah, there you go.
They were probably pissed, so they broke the seal too early. So yeah, it took them 18 hours, and on arrival in London, they had a brief meeting at Lyons Corner House and decided to make an immediate attempt at removing the stone from the abbey. Later that day, Ian Hamilton hid under a trolley in the abbey, but was caught by a night watchman after the abbey doors had been closed, briefly questioned, and then let go.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of trolley they're talking about. I'm wondering if, like, a tea trolley type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's
He was hiding in
like
the
that.
bottom of it. One of those.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the tablecloth.
£350.
Yeah.
The following day, Vernon and Stewart returned to the Westminster Abbey and learned some information on the watchman's shifts. In the middle of that night, 3 men entered a works yard and gained entrance into Poets' Corner, so that's a part of Westminster Abbey. Reaching the chapel containing the tomb of Edward I and King Edward's chair, they pulled down the barrier. On removing the stone from under the chair, it crashed to the floor and broke into 2 pieces.
Oh my God.
Yep. The 3 men, using Hamilton's coat, dragged the larger piece down the high altar steps.
So they just left the
Then
smaller
Hamilton-
one?
Yeah, no, they took the smaller one, the smaller piece, to one of the cars waiting outside.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So Ian Hamilton placed a small piece of stone in the boot of the car. That's the trunk.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
For you Yanks. And got into the passenger seat. As he did this, Kay Matheson noticed a policeman in the gaslight.
Uh-oh.
Hamilton and Matheson immediately fell into a lover's clinch.
That's a smart thing
That's
to do.
such a movie thing to do.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking suspicious, just snog whoever's next
That's
to you.
right.
It's
Yes.
The policeman stopped, and the 3 proceeded to have a conversation, even though it was 5 a.m.
Oh my God. You can just see that.
That reminds me of
Yeah.
this You're not gonna like this story, but this
Well,
reminds
then
me
what
totally
are you?
of.
What are you telling?
Well, we get to a point in our lives we gotta share these secrets. But one time, when I was in college, I was a night guard, and the way that at the college dorm, you'd have night guards that kind of just stay up at night and just only check in the people that live there, and they report any suspicious activity. And it was a summer. It was a summer session where there was only one dorm open during the summer because everybody went home. And so it was just me and this other guy. And this other guy was older than me. He's probably my age now, in his mid-40s, long-haired guy. And he would watch at night, like we do separate things. Like he would watch, I don't know how to say this other than just say it. He would watch snuff films.
What?
Like he would just watch, I don't know where he got these
hell.
snuff films. This was the mid-90s. Like he would just watch like horrible porno murder films, like with like underground
Christ.
VHS tapes with murders in them, with sex and murder. Like
He's definitely in fucking jail. Right?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
definitely.
I don't
in
even know if
fucking
I
jail.
remember the guy's name. I'll have to talk to a buddy of mine. But I was on a smoke break, and so he was inside watching snuff films, and I was outside
What are we
taking.
talking? A smoke break or a
smoke
smoke
It was
break?
it was just cigarettes, but I was outside smoking cigarettes, and he was in the place, like inside the dorm, like just sitting there watching these snuff films, and I'm smoking a cigarette outside, and this girl that I had sort of, like, she'd been trying to date me or whatever, and she was like, and I didn't like her. I was like, I don't know, it's not gonna work. You're crazy, and we called her Crazy Uma because she looked just like Uma Thurman, but she was insane. But she was trying to like woo me, and so she just
Jesus.
kept making
We
out
have
with
to
me.
listen to this.
Yeah, you don't want to hear about this, but so. But she's like making out with me, like just like forcing herself all over me, and I'm like,
what is
trying
the point of this story?
The point of this, so this local cop is doing his rounds, right? And he comes to the dorm every night to check on us, and he happens to come and check while I'm outside, and this girl's all over me, like.
All right, we don't
you know,
need to get.
Like, yeah, you don't want to hear this. So he comes up, and I'm like, and he's like, oh, how are you doing? And then he just sees that we're like in that embrace, like you were talking about, that like lovers thing, and so I can't even talk to him because this girl won't stop. And then so he's like, this is awkward, so I'm gonna go in and talk to this guy, and he goes in and talks to this guy who's watching a snuff film. And so the cop quickly leaves and takes off like real fast. I'm like, oh shit! So I finally get this girl off of me.
Arrest him. This guy is watching someone being murdered, and he's just like, that's fucking fine.
And this cop looked exactly like the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but like the red mustache guy, and he was just like that guy. He was just a cheese ball, and we both just laughed. Like, oh Jesus, what does this cop think? I don't know. He never came back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck me. He probably had to go into some form of therapy after that. That sounds
Really?
fucking
Yeah.
intense, man.
I can't do this anymore. Fucking students, man.
Oh my God.
What is going on? It was chaos.
Can we get back to Daniel's story,
Back
please?
to Daniel's story. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Stone of Scone.
Oh my God.
So yeah, it's 5 a.m. and people who've just reclaimed a national treasure are standing talking to a police officer. So having shared some jokes and a cigarette,
Okay.
Matheson and Hamilton drove off to Victoria, which is a part of London.
Okay.
Matheson and Hamilton getting out on the way to walk back to the Abbey. On his arrival, there was no sign of Vernon and Stuart, so he proceeded to drag the large piece of stone to the car himself.
Oh my God.
As he was driving away, he saw Vernon and Stuart walking towards him. The stone was so heavy that the springs on the car were sagging, so Vernon, fearing the alarm had been raised, made his way to Rugby in Warwickshire. Hamilton and Stuart drove to Kent, hid the large piece of stone in a field, and made their way back to Scotland.
Oh, there you go.
Matheson left the car containing the small piece of the stone with a friend in the Midlands, and like Vernon, made her way back to Scotland by train. On discovering that the stone was missing, the authorities closed the border between Scotland and England for the first time in 400 years.
Oh my God.
shit.
This is a big deal.
Yes.
And the border has actually just been closed, or it's going to be closed
'cause
as
of
well,
COVID.
because we've got different
Because of
different
Christmas.
COVID restrictions.
Yeah, for the second time. Who's got more
So,
restrictive COVID restrictions?
England.
We're going into some pretty strict ones. We're going into pretty much a full lockdown after Boxing Day.
Yeah, okay.
England have this new variant, which means Scotland doesn't want it at all. So we're just closing off.
Gotcha. Smart way to do it.
So the border's getting shut. So a fortnight later, Hamilton and some friends recovered the two pieces and brought them to Glasgow. They hired a stonemason called Bailey Robert Gray to mend the stone. Gray placed a large brass rod inside the stone.
Job that
I know,
is.
right?
To just be like, have someone turn up like, we have the stone.
And he's like, you have the stone? The stone? We stonemasons, we've learned about that in stone history when we were in university.
I have trained for this moment.
Wait a minute, what's that?
My entire life of stonemasonry has built up to me putting this brass rod in a piece of rock.
Is that Marilyn Monroe's sister saying this? It sounds like it's Marilyn Monroe. I've heard that voice before.
Beneath Monroe.
And you'll have to listen to their podcast to understand that joke.
That joke is.
That was a fucking brilliant callback. That was.
I was laughing my ass off in my car when I was listening.
You're getting a round of applause. So Gray placed a brass rod inside the stone containing a piece of paper, and to this day nobody knows what was written on the piece of paper.
Ooh.
It might have been something completely inane, like he wrote something really powerful.
He probably wrote like
something.
Don is gay or something and stuck it in there, like some kind of secret.
Rick Ryer is a son of a bitch.
Yeah. People write on the bathroom wall.
Just put Bailey was here.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so in 1951 the police received a message and the stone was found on the site of the high altar at Arbroath Abbey, where in 1320 the assertion of Scottish nationhood was made in the Declaration of Arbroath. So that was something that happened in the lead up to the Wars of Independence, where we declared independence from Scotland, but ours didn't go as well as your guys' independence declaration did.
Not from Scotland.
We've had a few efforts,
right?
Yeah,
Scotland.
No, from England.
From England.
We declared our independence from England.
From England, yeah, that's right.
And the Wars of Independence happened, and our leader was hung, drawn, and quartered, and then his head was stuck on a spike.
Shit.
Whoa.
On London Bridge.
Wow.
William Wallace.
Holy shit.
Where the Bruce took over.
Is that Braveheart? No.
Braveheart, yeah.
Yeah. Not accurate.
No, this was this was way fucking before. It was 1305 he died.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So William Wallace, who Mel Gibson, I mean, I've heard the Scottish accent in that film. It's not the best.
No. Oh, no.
But you can see what is thought to be William Wallace's sword. So if you go to there's a place in Stirling called the Wallace Monument, and it's on display there.
Yeah.
So his sword is a thing called a claymore.
Okay.
So it's a two-handed sword that the guys at the front would carry. It was a sign of ferocity, since you didn't have a shield. It was just a big fucking sword.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So they would swing it in sort of figure of eights and just sort of take out people and make way for the folk behind to come in.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was meant to be a big guy. He was people have theorised he was about 6'4".
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And his sword is 5'4".
Holy shit.
Jesus.
Damn.
And weighs about 6 pounds.
Dang it. That's huge.
Oh my god.
So it's a big sword. Like, how tall are you guys?
I'm 5'6", and
I'm 7'8".
No, you're not.
I'm 5'8".
Yeah, so Amy, it's about 2 inches. That's about 2 inches smaller than you are. The whole sword.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
The strength to have to wield that
big
thing.
fucking sword.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fucking terrifying.
My back hurts.
So that's William Wallace. So the police conducted an investigation with a focus on Scotland. All 4 of the group were interviewed, and all but Ian Hamilton later confessed to their involvement.
Oh wow.
Fucking
the
snitches.
the authorities decided not to prosecute as the potential for the event to become politicised was far too great. In fact, Sir Hartley Shawcross, addressing Parliament on the matter, said, "The clandestine removal of the stone from Westminster Abbey and the manifest disregard for the security of the Abbey were vulgar acts of vandalism which have caused great distress and offence both in England and Scotland."
Distress.
Yeah.
People falling in the streets.
Right.
I do not think, however, that the public interest required criminal proceedings to be taken. So yeah, the students became notorious for the daring heist, and in Scotland they became immensely popular.
Oh, yeah.
The heist and the students became synonymous with the devolution and nationalist political movements in Scotland from 1950 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, the incident encouraged a belief in change, throwing open to the scrutiny of the Union, which had existed between 1707, long before the stone was officially returned to Scotland in 1996. So we have the stone now.
Oh, you do?
You got it back in 96?
Yeah, we got it back in 96.
It's still broken?
So no, it was, well, I don't remember much of it. Like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
But I don't remember much of whether it was broken or not.
Have you touched it?
Yeah, so we've got. I'm not. I can't remember if you can actually touch it or if it's in a glass
like a glass
case.
Yeah.
It's
You probably
probably
can't touch it.
Yeah, it's probably in a
protected,
glass case. Yeah.
You
One
guys
of
should
these things
steal
with
it.
people's grease
You guys
in
should
it.
totally steal it.
What would, wait, and hold it hostage until independence
Yes.
is put
Yes.
through.
Or
Exactly.
either that, or we take it back to Westminster.
Yeah, really. Put it back.
We want the idiot.
Just to piss everybody off.
So the Scottish people voted for the devolution in 1997, and the removal of the stone of Schoon in 1950 contributed to those events. So it fired up the bellies of the nation and set us off on a course of being. Scottish people are very patriotic.
Yeah.
And then that led to the people who are now in government in Scotland just now, the Scottish National Party, also known as the SNP. I think they were set up in 1964.
Okay.
So it was about about 14, 15 years after this happened that was set up. But yeah, 4 nationalist students managed to steal
That's so funny.
something that's part of our cultural heritage from
Yeah.
from Westminster
Oh my
Abbey.
gosh. Is this a story that you guys all know about? Like, is this a well-known thing in Scotland, or did you have
A
to
lot
look
of
it
people
up?
know about
Not
this.
many, not many people know about
Okay.
it, but there was a film made about it.
Oh.
Okay.
I
Braveheart?
was gonna ask if there had been because hey, there should be a film made of it.
No, it's called The Stone of Destiny.
Oh.
So there is a film it's written as a historical adventure / comedy film.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's
Starring
it
Elaine
talks
Woodley.
about. So yeah, it sort of shows the whole journey of them bringing the stone back, and I just think it's fucking brilliant. And I was so excited when I found this story.
Yeah, that was really
I know.
interesting.
Thank
it was like
you.
a heist.
That was really
yeah,
good.
that was really cool.
Thank you very
I
much.
want to see that movie now.
I learned so much. Yeah, we probably. Yeah, I mean, shit. There's so much. Scotland fascinates me. The whole history of it, and it just felt like just so much. I mean, when we go there, there's just so much history compared to what, like you guys said on your podcast, that we're so young. Like everything here is only
not,
so
yeah,
old. We go
only
there, and it's like
a couple hundred years
it's
old.
like
It's the oldest
the beginning
it
of
gets.
time for us. You know, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But the thing is, so much interesting stuff has also happened in your guys' history. Like the whole sort of Civil War period really fascinates me.
Yeah.
I think American history is so interesting.
Insane.
Because
like,
so much happened in such a
Such a
short
little bit of
period
time.
of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and
like
it's all
if you think of
crumbling down.
that literally settlers came over, and then this country that was set up by the settlers from the UK gained its independence from one of the biggest empires in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing, really.
It's just so. It's so interesting and so amazing, and this country that was set up on the principles to try and stop, I guess, the tyranny of the British Empire.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
and all of the, I mean, if you look at all that, like the battles were all so close to being the other way. Like just like all these miracles, like George Washington getting shot a bunch of times and just never hit him. Like all of his horses died, and then he just got another horse. Like how was that guy not hitting? That's why I believe aliens are involved.
Oh God.
No.
No.
Right. So should I cover my one thing or just cut it off there? This has been a long episode.
Well,
I have a quick
how
thing.
long? Okay, quick.
And let me cover this because it's
I
in
think you've
Germany.
got time.
It's in Germany, and so it fits this podcast better than any other ones.
Okay.
Ours, right? So, according to WeirdUniverse.net, in November of 1950, chickens were exploding with a loud bang.
What?
A farmer in Lüneburg, Germany, reported that a number of his chickens had just exploded with a loud bang while running across the barnyard. Investigators concluded that the chickens must have eaten bits of carbide left behind by Allied soldiers during recent maneuvers.
Oh, poor things.
So when the carbide combined with water in their stomachs, the resulting gas caused them to blow up.
Oh my God.
But when I was researching this, I came across a bunch of chicken exploding stories. Like
What?
Like if you look, you know how Google like fills in your search, like you type in a couple of things like, are you wondering this? And it was like, do chickens explode? And it was like all these stories of chickens exploding from all over the place. And then I found from, according to wearethemighty.com, in the 1950s, the UK designed a nuclear landmine that would be placed in West Germany to stop a hypothetical Soviet assault on the rest of Europe, according to the BBC.
And destroy half of Europe.
Yeah, right.
The landmine, dubbed Operation Blue Peacock, would be operated remotely so that it would be detonated at the moment when it could inflict maximal damage on the invading Red Army. But the weapon had a major hitch. Buried underground, it was possible that the mine would become cold to the point that the detonator wouldn't be able to trigger the nuclear blast. So in 1957, British nuclear physicists found a solution: chickens. The birds would be put inside the casing of the bomb and given seed to keep them alive and stopped from pecking at the wiring, the BBC notes. The chicken's body heat would be enough to maintain the triggering mechanism's working temperature. In all, the chickens would be estimated to survive for a week, after which time the bomb would return to a possibly cooled and inoperable state.
Who in the fuck thought of that?
But
this reminds me of a couple of things. Firstly, Hitler trained dogs to, like, he'd strap Hitler scientists trained dogs. They'd strap bombs to dogs and then train them to go underneath tanks. But the problem was that they trained them to go underneath German tanks. So they just
funny.
underneath German tanks on the battlefield. Blow up their own tanks.
I think it was actually Russian. I think it was Russian. It was the Russians. The trained dogs to run under.
Went under their own tanks.
The
second thing was that I think the Americans developed during the Cold War a handheld nuclear missile launcher
Oh my God.
that would fire out a miniature nuclear missile. But they couldn't use it because it wouldn't travel far enough to not explode and kill the people who launched
That's
it
right.
in the first
Oh my
place.
God.
Yeah, I'm sort of like, the thought of a nuclear mine is quite strange, because the thing with nuclear bombs is normally they're dropped and then they get detonated about 100 meters above to create a bigger radius.
Yeah.
So a mine is very fucking strange.
But anyway, the Brits, by 1958, Operation Blue Peacock was abandoned because the Brits realized that there would be an unacceptable amount of nuclear fallout from the blasts. Like, it would be such damage that they were like, no, we can't do this. But that's like the Brits would show that discretion. Like, I don't think Americans would ever show that discretion.
No.
I don't know.
Probably
So
not.
that's all we got. That's all I got. Thank you guys for being here on
Yes,
our podcast.
thank you so much.
This was so much fun.
I know.
I'm sorry it's been 2 hours.
Gosh,
I know.
I mean, you guys are really smart and entertaining.
It's like hanging out with old friends.
It
or
really
something.
is.
Oh,
like
thank
we,
you.
we just
More, a
fucking
bit more.
top
and you're and
Yeah.
you're just children, and you're teaching us all about the ways of the world.
That's right.
It's like, but it's very
They
entertaining.
are not children. Now stop.
Well, compared to us, you guys are children.
No,
I mean,
stop
like,
it.
You know,
Well, if you listen to our podcast, you'll meet another child, and that is
Yes.
John.
Yes,
who couldn't
we
make
wish
it.
John
him well.
Carmichael.
I'm really sad that
Yeah.
John
sending
couldn't be
all
here.
sending out all our love to John.
Yes.
Raise a
Get
glass
better.
to John.
That's right.
He's not dead.
John-
he's just
He's
sleeping.
dying of
Yeah.
He's sleeping.
coronavirus.
John probably gets this, but he sounds like the Beatles to me. He's got the Beatles type of accent. It sounds like to me, but he also
He's from Liverpool.
he's from Liverpool. I knew it.
He's from fucking. He's from fucking Liverpool.
Liverpool.
But he's the only one we haven't seen because his camera doesn't work. So we have no idea what John.
don't ever
We're
get
sad. We hope
He's
John feels
he's
better.
hideous.
John's a bit of an enigma.
He's hideous.
Like, you don't
He
know
is.
whether he's AI or
He
not.
is.
He
could be a
he may
robot.
not-
Oh,
a
it
robot
could-
not be real.
It could just be the computer playing. You know.
And we hope John feels
Exactly.
better, and we
Mhm.
hope you guys come back to future episodes, and we bring John back, and you guys all have stories.
Yeah.
Love to
We'll
come
have
back.
you back on our podcast.
Yeah, this is
as
fun.
well.
Yeah, I
we
mean-
should make this a yearly thing.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You guys, midway through each season, we'll do a film from whatever year you guys are doing.
That
oh,
sounds
we would love it.
awesome.
Or we whatever actor you pick, we'll jump in on one of their
Ooh.
movies. Like if you do,
We'll do Kevin Costner from next season.
Oh
just for you.
God! Just because he said that.
because I hate Kevin Costner, and we've talked about how shitty he is. So
Yes.
that'd be great. I'm about to watch Dances with Wolves. I'm in the middle of a Robert Loggia festival. I'm trying to watch. I'm on a mission during this pandemic. I'm going to watch every Robert Loggia film.
God, only
So
you.
Okay.
if you do Robert Loggia, I'm in.
They probably don't even know who that is.
You guys know who Robert Loggia
Yeah, I
is,
have
right?
no fucking idea who.
Not
No.
for
Yes, you
Right,
do.
okay. We have a podcast about
You know who
movies.
he is.
We know nothing about movies.
Are you kidding me?
We are
Daniel knows what
completely
a score is, and he knows he can speak intelligently about the score.
That's right.
It's because I fucking pay attention.
That's right.
Yeah, look up
doesn't.
Robert Loggia. You guys know who he is. He's been in a million movies. The movie Big.
All
Oh,
right.
that is one of the creepiest
I
movies.
know.
He was
Doesn't
in
age well.
Scarface.
It's a great film, but the fact
Oh,
that
it doesn't age well.
she
Fucks
fucks
him.
a 13-year-old.
I know.
Yeah,
it's
that
not
is
good.
weird.
What?
Yeah.
Not good.
She's a pedophile.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if.
Anyway, have a Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
On that note, Merry fucking Christmas. Thanks everybody for listening.
Santa's coming down.
Time to
the
get
chimney.
out of here. You guys have anything else to say before we go? To our listeners?
I love you and leave you.
Alaba Gubra. That means Scotland forever.
Okay.
Awesome.
It doesn't.
No, they're frozen.
Oh,
Well,
wait, did
thank
we
you
freeze?
guys.
All
Good
right.
night. Thank you for listening. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's time to get out of here, Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, thanks for listening. The guys in Scotland froze.
Oh, my child, it's about to get wild. Have you been down on the streets today? Say, yeah, now, baby, it's about to get crazy. Everybody's got something to say.
American Timelines.
American Timelines is a member of the Queen City Podcast Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Find out more at queencitypodcastnetwork.com.
Thank you. Love you.